Still celebrating his Dolphins victory. As always, we are presented by Kingsmark Cabinets, coming to you live from Parx Casino, reminding you to share this episode because for every share, we donate $1 to the Help Us Adopt organization. We'll continue to do that because we had the bye week, so everybody gets their fair share of donations. And I mentioned ET still celebrating because the Dolphins beat the Eagles yesterday, and it was a performance set that I'm not even giving this guy his due. He can celebrate all he wants, but it's just, what is it? Woo! Stop it. Stop it. Woo! Stop it. The victory aside by the Dolphins, this was a loss by the Eagles, not a win by your Dolphins.
Hold your hand up if your team is winning on the month of December.
There's a difference between a loss and a win.
Hold your hand up if your team had nothing to play for in the month of December.
This was a loss by the Eagles,
Hold your hand
not
up
a
if
win by the
you beat a team
Dolphins.
that had something to play for in the month of December.
Cut that music.
This is the only time you can wear sunglasses on a snowy day. When you go out and you beat the team you were supposed to beat. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
The Eagles blew a 14-point second-half lead against the previous 2-win Miami Dolphins. Now 3-win.
Right, only 2 less than the Eagles who actually playing for something. Yeah. I just want to put that out there. Go ahead.
Seth, blowing a 14-point lead against that team. It's like I said last week, you can't let them back in the game, and that's exactly what the Eagles did.
You guys always think that I go overboard with my descriptions about how you should treat a team when you have them down. When I say you step on your opponent's neck, when I say you reach down and you hold their head still and you slit their throat, now you guys understand exactly what I'm talking about.
14 gave us fight.
Hey, listen, what you have to do is, you got to realize that, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a veteran quarterback, okay? And he has the ability to be Fitz-tragic, but he has the ability to be Fitz-magic at the same time, And the Eagles had no answer for it. I mean, they basically beat you. They beat you with a running back that they brought off the streets 2 weeks ago. They beat you with a wide receiver that everyone was beginning to question whether he would ever realize his potential and his talent.
Thanks, Jim.
With 2 players. And we had no answer for it after really shutting them down the entire first half. And then Doug Peterson, that's a whole nother story. I mean, it's just, there's no explaining away, throwing the ball a call 48 times and only running it 19. And you run it 19 times and you're averaging almost over 5 yards a carry. And Miles Sanders had 17 carries for 83, 88 yards, something like that. When you have the lead, you've got to run the football to eat the clock up and minimize the amount of possessions that your opponent has. They didn't do that. They lost the game.
It's like they were looking for style points, which mean nothing in the NFL. This isn't the college football voting system. A win is a win, whether it's by 3 points or 30 points. I don't get why the Eagles were looking for style points passing the ball when they were up 14 points. You could have milked that clock, like Seth said, drain this game and end it and win by a touchdown.
Peterson said we're a good team and we're well coached, and you saw that yesterday. We came out and we executed. Okay, we wanted it more. That trick play was one of the greatest trick plays I've seen since Philly. Okay, totally caught Josh Sweat off guard. I don't know who he was running at with 3 people converging on quarterback. Well, we thank you, Josh Sweat, friend of our program now. Listen, all I know is my Dolphins are playing for absolutely nothing. Draft rights, where we're going to pick in the draft. Thank you for making our position worse. But also thank you for you guys proving to everybody that, because listen, it was all good a half week ago. I sat there and saw Seth on Twitter. Oh, it's great on Thanksgiving, watching the Cowboys lose. I sat there and watched that, and I said, okay. And they thought they had a win coming. Oh, we're going to beat the brakes off the Dolphins. Ha, ha, ha. I heard it all week. They all come out, don't play on the field. And now, y'all gave away a game that the Cowboys gave to you. They gave you a game, and you gave it right back. Y'all don't want this division. Y'all clearly don't want the playoffs. So just go ahead, fold it in, play for draft position, blow the whole thing up like I said 2 weeks ago, and go get.
I'm really not concerned because I stated last night that my expectations for the team is now nothing.
I love that
because at the end of the day, and we talked about it as well as far as the playoffs and whether they should make the playoffs. Do we hope that they make the playoffs? And what did I say? I said selfishly, I would love for them to make the playoffs. Why?
Yeah.
Because I can make a few more checks. Okay? But at the end of the day, if I'm looking at the long-term benefit of this football team, it's not beneficial for them to make the playoffs. They need to feel the sting of not making the playoffs. They need to feel the sting of how this season has unwound. And Howie Roseman, I don't know if you guys watched last night, but when the Eagles are usually coming off the field, the Brain Trust, Don Smolenski, Jeffrey Lurie, and Howie Roseman, there's 4 of them. They all walk together and they all shoulder to shoulder. Yesterday, Howie was about 10 feet behind him, and he had this look on his face like Jeffrey just got done chewing his ass
As he
out.
should.
Because you know, at the end of the day, Howie's got to own this roster, and this roster is why they are 5-7 right now. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it.
You can't say they overlooked the Dolphins either. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, but when you go up 2 touchdowns on a team, you didn't overlook them.
I'll say they didn't. I won't say that they overlooked them. I will say this: a lot of teams look at a team with a record of 2-9, and there's a massive amount of disrespect that goes along with that. And when you disrespect the opponent and you don't prepare the way you're supposed to, and you don't approach that opponent like that opponent has the ability to hurt you, you get dominated every single time. I've been around the game. I played for 13 years. I've been watching this game. I've been analyzing this game for a long time. I've seen it so many times. And people will talk about, oh, any given Sunday. It's not any given Sunday. You're talking about the greatest athletes, some of the greatest athletes in the world. There's 1,696 NFL players out of 7.5 billion people in the world. They are the elite of the elite. And even though they're on a team that's 2-9, at the end of the day, those are the best players in the world, even though they're in an organization and playing for a team that absolutely stinks.
We got 40 guys on our roster that were undrafted right now, okay? Listen, the point is this. The Eagles should never want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick at any point for as long as they can until he retires. Because the last 2 games he's played them, Tampa Bay, Miami, he scorched them. In both games they won. And all he needed were receivers that could go and get the ball. He sat there and said, ooh, Mills and Darby, I've seen them before. I know what I can do. Throw the ball and let Devontae Parker look like an all-star.
You want to know what the similarities of those two games were? So, Deshaun hit us out the gate last year.
Yes.
Parker hit us out the gate this year. Okay. So then Jim Schwartz's entire defensive game plan shifted and changed. Okay.
Got scared.
He went from realizing that he couldn't put these guys out here on these wide receivers man to man. He had to go switch the zone.
Why was there no double team? I'm curious. Not one time did they double team
because they don't. Listen, when have you ever seen them double team anybody?
There it is. So
there's no defensive diversity when it comes to stuff like that. They don't have the ability to take one guy away.
No.
You know, they just don't do it. You know, so what happened? They forced them to say, you know what, hey, we can't cover these guys man to man. We're gonna play zone. And when you play zone against a veteran quarterback like Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't care how good or bad he is, you give him time where he can sit there and figure out what's going on, he's going to hurt you, man, and he hurt him. He hurt him big time.
I think the Eagles win next week because the Giants don't have any receivers that can play, so they're not going to get their secondary.
I ain't even going that far.
Saquon going to do what he do, but Andy Dalton throws a lot of interceptions.
I don't put anything into what they may or what they may not do. Okay, you know, to be honest with you, you know, the worst thing they can do is win the division, go to the playoffs. I'm sorry. I mean, listen, and Eagles fans will hear me say that and be like, Seth, how can you say that? Listen, I'm a fan. I'm a die hard to the end, okay? But it's not about them making the playoffs this year and getting bounced week 1.
Right.
It's about them building this roster the right way so this team can be competitive year after year after year. And if you don't do that, okay, you're doing a disservice to the fans of Philadelphia. You're doing a disservice to the city of Philadelphia. And someone has to be held accountable for where this team is right now. They got to be.
Once again, check out Kingsmark Cabinets for all your home improvement needs. Now let's head to the whiteboard where Seth's going to show us a little bit more about that Eagles pass defense.
Okay, we're going to talk today about the defensive pass issues that the Eagles are having. Why did Ryan Fitzpatrick have such a successful day? Once the offensive line figured out a way to get the pressure under control in the second half, and because Devontae Parker was making so many plays against Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby, Jim Schwartz decided to go to some zone. So you got a guy in the third, okay? You got a flat dropper, a hook dropper, flat dropper. The problem is you got 3 guys in one zone. Here you're solid because you got 2 guys and you got 2 guys, you know, in the zone. So even if this guy goes to the flat, he's got him covered. This guy comes in, he's got him covered. The problem here is, even though they're dropping to the landmarks, you got one guy going to the flat, you got one guy that's running this guy off, and a guy that's hooking up right here. Okay? That's just one route concept, that they ran. The other issue is with the Eagles, they're linebackers, they're safeties, and they're nickel guys. When they're playing zone, a lot of times they drop to landmarks and they stay in their landmarks, and their eyes, everybody's eyes is on the quarterback. Okay? And I understand that because they got to know when to break on the ball. But when you have no idea where the routes are breaking behind you, when you have no awareness of where the wide receivers and the tight ends in the back are running their routes, it's hard for these guys to really understand it. So as I'm dropping, I'm looking to see, okay, where guys are. I know where my landmark is, okay, but I can't drop to my zone and be fixated on the quarterback, because the quarterback's going to look one way and throw the ball the other way. I've got to be dropping, and I got to see and get a sense for where guys are. I got a pattern read, okay? So this guy right here, he knows right now, if that guy goes out, in a zone, you got somebody coming back. Same concept here, okay? Why are they running that guy here now? Because they're trying to pull him out. They're running this guy here to pull him out. Why? To set up the hook right here. So the Eagles got to do a better job of this kind of stuff. And to close out, let's talk about the issues with the Eagles cornerbacks, okay? Devontae Parker had a day yesterday. A guy who, for most of his career, everybody was wondering whether he would ever realize, his potential. But he had a stroke of genius yesterday because he got to play against Ronald Dargan and Jalen Mills. Okay? So, guys that get up in a man-to-man posture, they got this guy man-to-man. Okay? The easiest route in the world is a slant route. We've talked about that so many times. Okay? But if you're going to get up and press, why don't you put your hands on the guy and jam the guy? Okay? The other thing is, good defensive, man-to-man defense is about position. Why do we get so many PIs? Why do we get so many balls that guys just jump up over us and take from us? It's because of poor position. They line up outside, line up on the guy, they got a man-to-man, they start bailing, they're moving backwards on their heels. Okay, while this guy is moving at him. So he moves, he stems, he breaks in, gets the guy, now he's got a wheel. He's out of position right now. Okay, what the Eagles guys don't do is they never get themselves in the proper position to play the ball. Conversely, what winds up happening is they got their back to the wide receiver. The wide receiver sees the ball, and when he jumps up to make a play, their back is still to the ball. They have no idea where it is. And then they never get in position, really, to make a play on the ball. In my opinion, that's coaching. And I'm not one to ever call for a guy to lose his job. But listen to me. Corey Underwood has been the DB coach. He was brought in by Chip Kelly. Our cornerbacks have not improved, even the ones that we have drafted since he's been here. There needs to be a coaching change. If those guys on the outside are going to get better, well, you're going to have to go out and get some guys that are better. Back to you guys.
The new Parx Casino $10 million sports book changes everything. It's a whole new ballgame at Parx Casino. Watch every single game and sporting event you want on our custom-built 154-foot wide, $1.5 million screen, capable of showing 36 events at once. Bet all the hot action and enjoy tap after tap of amazing craft beer, cocktails, and pub food favorites. Your entire game day destination is here for you and your friends. Sportsbook, beer garden, and Liberty Bell Gastropub. Parx Casino, bet with the best.
Real quick, a Kingsmark key to a victory over the New York Giants in a couple of words. I'm just going to say it. Stay healthy. Just at this point, right? Win, loss, just stay healthy.
I don't think it really matters either way whether they win or lose the game. I think, like I said, if you keep the pressure on Danny Dimes, let him throw picks, that'll give you enough turnovers that you should win. Carson Wentz didn't play bad, but he just didn't play good enough to win.
Hey, listen, the Giants' defense, in my opinion, isn't that good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers completely took them apart in the snow yesterday. This game won't have anything to do with the Eagles' offense because I think they'll find their footing, and the barrage and the crucifixion that Doug Peterson is going to have to endure this week. You know, if he doesn't make the switch to a run game-based offense this week, then I'm convinced that it'll never happen, and within the next year to 2 years, he'll be out of the game. But the defense has got to figure themselves out. They got to figure out what they're going to do, who they're going to be, and how they're going to play every single week, and that begins with this week.
Let your Dolphins score a season high.
There it is, baby. Listen, you know what? Thank you guys so much for watching. From all of us here at My New Philly, make sure you tune in and watch us next week. Courtesy of Hit 'em High, right here at My New Philly, where something's always new
And everything's always Philly.